Using tables in a OneNote note is an excellent way to keep content organized into columns and rows. But you may also want it to look nice, especially if you're going to be sharing with others. So let's talk about some formatting options while working with our table here in the London page of our travel section of our Landon Hotel notebook. You can open up Landon Hotel 0703 if you need to get caught up. With our cursor flashing away here in our table, we get the Layout tab showing up. It's context sensitive under Table Tools. And not only do we have the ability to insert and delete columns and rows, but we have some selection options here. And they'll come in handy when we go over to the Format section to choose some formatting, even aligning of content. So anywhere in the first row, we'll click there. One option to select that row is to go to the Select Rows button. Give it a click. The entire top row is now selected, so we can do some formatting. Let's start with aligning everything centered in those columns. There we go. Day 1, 2, and 3 all centered at the top. We also have left and right alignment options here as well. Notice the keyboard shortcuts. For center, it's just the button, but for left, we have Control L. For right, we have Control R. All right, maybe we should shade this as well so it looks different than the rest, kind of like a header row. We have a shading drop down. Give it a click. You'll see theme colors, which I recommend choosing from. That way, if you change themes, you'll be able to see consistent changes in the theme colors. Whereas if you choose standard colors or more colors, well, you'll be stuck with that color no matter what theme you choose. So I'm going to go to a nice light purple up here. You can see it's purple, lighter, 60%. Give it a click. And now we'll just click to the right of the table inside the container. You can see that's what that looks like, and we kind of lose the lines using the shading. That's okay though, because you can see everything lines up nicely. Now, as I mentioned in an earlier movie, the table functionality built into OneNote is nowhere near as powerful as what you would find in, say, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, or especially Excel, but we do have the ability to do some cool things here. Let's stretch out the first column here a little bit. Go to the border when you see the double arrow. Just create a little extra space here. That looks better. Now we can select columns by clicking in any column and going up to Select Columns. You can see we're able to select an entire column. If we wanted to select the entire table, we have a button for that as well if we want to format something throughout every cell in the table. But if it's specific cells you want, just click and drag across them. So let's click in any cell to deselect. And if I want these cells where I see my labels for morning, lunch, afternoon, dinner, and evening, I just click and drag straight down. I don't want to go too far over to select the next column. It's just this first column, but only these cells. Now, if we wanted to do some formatting with shading, we know how to do that. But I think better than that would be to format the content. And that means going back to the Home tab, where we have access to all of the basic text formatting, the styles, and so on. Let's bold these. That looks better. And let's change the color. Click the drop down and choose that same purple we've been using throughout. And you can see the color now of our content. Just click in any cell to deselect the highlighting to get a good look at that. So this looks really different than it did earlier. We're ready to start inputting some of our content. Let's go back to the Layout tab here because there is a possibility of hiding borders. When you click Hide Borders, notice they all disappear, but we still have the cells. So things are still going to line up. If you want to line things up, but you don't want to see the table, that's an excellent option. Click Hide Borders again to bring back those lines if you want to keep them. So that's some basic formatting we can apply to our tables here in OneNote 2016. The other thing we might want to consider is taking a table and converting it to an Excel spreadsheet. We'll talk about that next.